Greeny, is that Micah Parsons should actually be the MVP of the league. I can already see it after 2 games. But guess what? He's not going to be. Because this is a QB award. But really, Micah Parsons is on pace. He could be the first defensive MVP since LT. But I just
it's going to happen.
Is it going to happen?
Yes, we are going to make. We are. Listen. I want you to put the camera on all of us here. No, put it on all of us for a second, Cindy, before we go to camera 3 and the sound. On Monday, we noted that the odds on Micah Parsons to win MVP were 100-1. We started our campaign that he should be the MVP. It went to 65-1. Now it's down to 35-1.
Yes.
The world is catching on. Micah Parsons is the best player in football. Meanwhile, he was on Pat McAfee's show yesterday, and this is what Micah had to say about this Cowboys team compared to his previous teams in Dallas.
Kofi?
It feels completely different. I feel like there's a complete 360 turnaround. I think this year, man, coming in after camp, we was like, man, we know we're capable of we all know how each other play. We all know what each other like. It's looking dangerous right now. I can't even lie to you.
Okay, first of all, I need Micah to get a compass and understand what 360 means. Because then they'd be staring right back at where they were.
I don't need my pass rushers to know nothing about no degrees. Where is the quarterback? Get him. Simple.
Marcus, let's start with you, my beloved former Cowboy. This is special. I mean, if I were to say right now, look, Mahomes, the best player in football is Micah Parsons. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It is. The impact he's making on the game, G. One trait you have to be in that conversation, and we used to talk about Aaron Donald in this way, and we probably will at the end of the year, it has the impact the rest of the 10. And the fact that Micah Parsons is out there on the field, everybody's job becomes easier. That's one of the traits of being the best player. The other trait is Micah Parsons wins 57% of his pass rushes. The lead is at 17.
Right.
Think about that for a second. Now, I'm one to believe that T.J. Watt is one of the best pure pass rushers. Like, lying down, put your hand in the dirt. He's going to get to the quarterback from that position more than anybody. But the numbers don't say that. It says that every time Micah Parsons lies down with his hand in the dirt, he's going to get there more than anybody in the league. Dan Quinn uses him in a phenomenal way.
Absolutely.
He creates mismatches. And look, the other thing is this, too. He plays harder than everybody.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second.
Motor.
The freakish athletic ability coupled with a coach that's going to put you in great positions and situations to impact games, and you go harder than everybody else. Now, I know it's not that simple. People don't think about it in that regard, but I've watched Lawrence Taylor play. He looked like he was moving faster than everybody else on the field.
That's right.
These two dudes are very similar, and he really does have a chance to be league MVP.
A reminder that he was an off-the-ball linebacker in college, and the Cowboys traded back in the draft to get him.
Yeah.
They moved back and got him. You're an offensive lineman. What are we doing with Micah Parsons?
Not sleeping for a week. I can tell you that. But you can't do anything with him because you try to game plan him in a specific position. He's not going to be there. That's the difference between he and every other pass rusher. You can't put a tight end on him because he may kick in and he'll be over your guard or over your center, or over your right. So you don't ever know where he's going to line up. So you can't game plan for him. You ultimately have to go one-on-one with him. 5 of your offensive linemen at some point are going to face him, and you got a weak link. Everybody in the NFL's got a weak link on the offensive line, and it's I want to sign up for that block. Listen, don't nobody want to sign up for that block, right? Everybody, hey, go, slide down, kick down, double me. You can't double everybody, and so that's the problem with him. He creates such havoc because there is no game plan, because Dan Quinn is using him that way, where he can walk around, do it how he wants to do it, and it's an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, and you can double team him and he can beat that too.
Well,
I saw in week
fair.
1, he destroyed the double team and led to a sack for someone else. So there really is no answer. The 57%, some of those wins are against 2 guys too.
Yeah. Ooh.
So here's what I want to say. When it comes to Micah Parsons being a brilliant player on the defensive side of the ball, that's not a surprise. Here's what's surprising, Kmart, about the Cowboys. The much maligned Mike McCarthy is running an offensive show that is so extraordinarily well organized and well put together that even someone like me, I never played it, I never coached it, and I'm watching it, and they're getting that play in so fast, and they're getting out of the huddle so fast. Mike McCarthy is putting it back in everyone's face, right, at least to this point, who questioned him taking over the play calling.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We didn't know what it would look like.
That's what I mean.
The offense, they were putting up points, scoring at will at one point, And you thought, okay, with Kellen Moore and Dak, this makes sense. And all of a sudden, Mike McCarthy says, you know what? We don't want to do all that. I'm going to take over. When we looked at Mike McCarthy throughout the last 2 seasons and said, you know, clock management is an issue for them. Guys don't seem to know what they're supposed to be doing in end-of-game situations. Does Mike McCarthy now want to take on an even bigger responsibility and add more to his plate? And guess what? He said yes, and so far, the Cowboys look good. Defense we know is going to be good. We knew Mike would be outstanding, as Dominique always says. But it was going to be this offense, and how would Dak look, and how would these pieces come together? Would they put up points? Would they just run the ball, and would Dak be too afraid to make mistakes? Yeah. It hasn't looked like that to this point, and that's what you love, because that's the main question with this team.
Jeff, you left me solo and went to coach when I was fighting.
He was by himself.
Because it was such a negative connotation around Mike McCarthy taking over play calling. Right. And when he came out and said, we're going to run the ball, you should have saw people. They lost their mind. You can't win in the league running the damn football and doing all of that. But not just you fighting, but I think the idea of what Kellen Moore was doing blinded people so much to situational football. That's right. And that's what Mike McCarthy was talking about. When we need to run it and when we have to run it, we will. But you got to drop back. It was 38 passes and 35 runs in this game against the New York Jets. And for as much as the Jets struggle offensively, I'm sorry, G, that defense still had to be respected, no matter how good your defense was playing. And what Mike McCarthy has done is situational football and understand that, all right, this is the time for me to hand it off. My offensive line is intact. We can be physical. I'm going to give you an example, because this is what I was talking about with Kellen Moore when everybody was like, well, they the #1 scoring offense in the league, and they doing all of this. Kellen Moore last week with the Los Angeles Chargers in overtime threw 3 deep balls. 3 of them in a row. Got 0 yards, 3 plays, and a punt. Now, look, what people going to say is Justin Herbert, go out there and make a play. Here they go. Right here, the Tennessee Titans, man. The Titans barely could beat the Saints. The Chargers were supposed to be the dog. Look at this ball, right? The Tennessee Titans come right back the next possession. Get the ball, run, pass, pass, field goal range, win the game. That was Kellen Moore's problem in Dallas. It had nothing to do with his inability to call plays. The dude can call plays. He is a bad situational offensive coach, and that's what drove me crazy last year with the Cowboys. And a lot of times your quarterback gonna get the brunt. It's about to happen to Justin Herbert. Trust me, give it time. If Justin Herbert is going to be asked, I'm going to drop back every time we get in a critical situation, I'm going to be asked to drop back and make plays and put this team on my back, he's going to suffer from the same thing Dak Prescott suffered.
That is a really well-made point that we hadn't considered. I would like you to make the point you made yesterday, though, of who this reminds you of, the guy that you played with for a dozen years in Indianapolis.
And I actually played for Mike McCarthy, right? And I will say this, the one position change when you take over that offensive coordinator from the head coach is you now have control. People think like the head coach is making every decision, but that's not the case, right? Like as that offensive coordinator is calling those plays, you're trusting all the situational football that they've studied for the week, right? Mike McCarthy is putting the hands of this offense in Dak Prescott's hand. He's saying, I'm going to call plays fast. You're going to get to the line of scrimmage. You're going to have 20-plus seconds to evaluate the situation, put our offense in the best position. And what you've done now is you've allowed Dak Prescott confidence at the line of scrimmage. It's no longer a hurry. It's no longer, maybe the best check is a run. Maybe the best check is a check down. And he'll say those things in his earpiece. Hey, consider this, consider those things. But the advantage that Mike McCarthy is giving Dak Prescott is that I'm going to give you time at the line of scrimmage to adapt our offense and be the best.
And who else did that? Who did you?
Peyton Manning. That's all we did. Get there in a hurry, get lined up, be ready to play. The defense will tip its hand at some point, whether that's in the first quarter or the fourth quarter. But we're going to take advantage, and they're going to allow Dak to do those things. And to your point, you saw it in week 1 against the Giants with Mike McCarthy. It's pouring down rain. They're up 16 because they've had all this. Why am I going to screw this up? Play within yourself.
These fools, the Colts, they had 4 plays on offense, maybe 5.
That's right.
Maybe 5.
You could never be right.
Studied the hell out of all those plays. And the thing that we didn't realize, the most success we had was when we realized that they were looking at all the things that we were doing.
That's right.
And it's hard to keep 11 guys from tipping you off. So you get up to the line of scrimmage. Peyton got 30 seconds to hard count you, to motion, do all this other stuff. Eventually, one of us dummies is going to show our hands, and then Peyton is checking to them stupid double ends or them go routes or them comebacks, and they get in the first down.
Sound like
they're called indie routes.
Sound like a damn airline person. Sound like an airline person in the airport. Omaha. Omaha. I'm not going to Omaha. I'm going
That's right.
As it turns out, you are going Omaha. You just don't know.
Whether you like it or not.
That's where it begins. I didn't even get to my favorite thing, but we will. Micah Parsons has another trick up his sleeve, and it is something you can be looking forward to.